September 17, 2025. The sun was setting over Riyadh when two men signed a piece of paper that would send shockwaves across three continents. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia and Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. The document they signed wasn't just another diplomatic handshake. It was a declaration that would fundamentally alter the balance of power in one of the world's most volatile regions. The words on that paper were simple, almost innocent. Any aggression against either country shall be considered an aggression against both. But sometimes the most dangerous promises come wrapped in the simplest language. If those words sound familiar, they should. They're almost identical to NATO's Article 5, the clause that has kept Europe safe for over 70 years. What we witnessed in Riyadh was the birth of what some are calling an Islamic NATO. At first, Pakistan's defense minister assured the world that nuclear weapons were not on the radar during negotiations. But within days, he made another statement that cut through the diplomatic fog like a blade. Pakistan's nuclear capabilities will absolutely be available under this pact if either country faces an existential threat. From not on the radar to absolutely available in just 72 hours. That strategic ambiguity designed to make enemies lose sleep. This nuclear umbrella didn't appear overnight. Its roots stretch back 50 years, to a time when Pakistan had empty pockets and Saudi Arabia was swimming in oil money but drowning in security fears. The 1970s. Pakistan needed funding for something ambitious, something dangerous, something that would change everything. Saudi Arabia provided that funding. Some estimates suggest the kingdom covered 60% of the costs for Pakistan's Kahuta nuclear facility. 60%. That's not an investment, that's a partnership written in uranium and sealed with petrodollars. For decades, this arrangement lived in the shadows. September 17th simply made official what everyone already knew. The kingdom had just cashed in an IOU written in the atomic age. But nuclear weapons without delivery systems are just expensive paperweights. Pakistan's missiles tell the real story. The Shaheen 2, with its range of 2,750 kilometers, can reach from Islamabad to Tel Aviv, from Karachi to Tehran, from Lahore to anywhere that matters in the Middle East. Suddenly, Saudi Arabia didn't just have oil wealth and desert sands. It had the ultimate insurance policy, delivered courtesy Pakistani engineering and decades of patient investment. So why now? The answer lies not in what Saudi Arabia gained, but in what they lost. Trust. Trust in their oldest ally, the United States of America. The breaking point came when Israeli missiles struck Doha, the heart of Qatar. Saudi Arabia expected their American allies to respond with force, with a kind of decisive action that had protected the Gulf for decades. Instead, they got diplomatic statements and measured responses. That's when Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman realized a terrifying truth. The American security umbrella had holes in it. But partnerships born of fear rarely last unless they are nourished by need. And Pakistan's need is overwhelming. $100 billion. That's Pakistan's debt burden, a mountain of financial obligation that threatens to crush the nation's future. For Pakistan, this defense pact isn't about regional prestige or Islamic solidarity. It's about survival. Those $5 to $10 billion in promised Saudi investments aren't bonuses, they're oxygen tanks for a drowning economy. This isn't the first time Pakistan has served as Saudi Arabia's sword and shield. In 1979, when extremists seized the Grand Mosque in Makkah, Saudi Arabia didn't call the Americans or Europeans, they called Pakistan. Pakistani special forces stormed the mosque, spilled blood on sacred ground, and returned Islam's most precious shrine to Saudi Arabia's control. During the Gulf War, 15,000 Pakistani soldiers stood guard over Saudi soil. Pakistan has been Saudi Arabia's hired gun for half a century. Now they're offering something far more valuable than bullets. They're offering nuclear fire. But every action creates a reaction, and Pakistan's new nuclear partnership cast a long shadow eastward, towards New Delhi. India watched with the careful attention of a nation that has fought 4 wars with Pakistan and lived under constant threat of nuclear escalation. The Indian Ministry of External Affairs issued measured statements. We will study the implications for our national security. Translation: we are worried, but we are not panicking. Yet. India's measured response wasn't born of weakness, it was born of mathematics. $43 billion, that's the value of annual trade between India and Saudi Arabia. India is the kingdom's second largest oil customer. $10 billion in Saudi investments flow through Indian markets. These aren't just numbers on a balance sheet, they are the foundation of a relationship that neither side can afford to destroy. History shows Saudi Arabia has maintained careful neutrality during India-Pakistan conflicts, never risking their billion-dollar relationship with India. But neutrality in public doesn't mean neutrality in private. This defense pact creates new possibilities for Saudi Arabia to influence conflicts without directly participating. Advanced American weapons could find their way to Pakistani arsenals. Oil could flow to Islamabad on credit during wartime. Intelligence could be shared through Gulf Cooperation Council channels. Kashmir remains the flashpoint that could ignite regional war at any moment. With Saudi Arabia's backing, Pakistan's position in that ancient dispute just became significantly stronger. Strip away the religious rhetoric and you'll find something much simpler: a transaction. Pakistan is renting out its nuclear deterrent to the highest bidder. Saudi Arabia is purchasing security with oil money and investment promises. It's capitalism with mushroom clouds, free market economics with existential stakes. The invisible hand of the market now holds the ultimate weapon. This transaction reveals something that should concern strategists worldwide. America's security guarantees no longer feel secure. When the world's wealthiest oil producer decides to buy nuclear protection from a cash-strapped ally instead of relying on American promises, what does that say about American credibility? The Middle East is hedging its bets, building new alliances, creating power structures that don't depend on American approval. If Saudi Arabia and Pakistan can create their own Islamic NATO, what prevents other regions from following suit? Could we see an African Union Defense Pact, a Latin American Mutual Defense Treaty, an Asian Security Consortium that excludes Western powers entirely? The Saudi-Pakistan agreement isn't just about two countries, it's a template for a multipolar world where regional powers create their own security arrangements, their own rules, their own red lines. We may be witnessing the birth of a nuclear marketplace where atomic deterrence becomes a commodity to be bought, sold, and traded. Perhaps that's the most unsettling aspect of this entire arrangement. It makes perfect sense. Pakistan needs money, Saudi Arabia needs security. Nuclear weapons provide the ultimate guarantee. It's logical, rational, and absolutely terrifying. We've created a world where the tools of annihilation have become instruments of commerce, where the weapons designed to end civilization have just become another product in the global marketplace of power. As we watch this new alliance take shape, we must ask ourselves a fundamental question. Is this the world we wanted to build? A world where nuclear deterrence can be purchased like crude oil? Where the ultimate weapons become the ultimate commodities? The men who signed that paper in Riyadh thought they were securing their nation's futures. They may have instead revealed our collective failure to imagine a world beyond the balance of terror. The shadow alliance between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan isn't just changing the strategic calculus in South Asia and the Middle East. It's showing us a mirror, reflecting the kind of world we've created and asking us whether it's the kind of world we want to leave behind. The nuclear age was supposed to make war unthinkable. Instead, we've made nuclear weapons inevitable. And now, they're for sale to the highest bidder. The question isn't whether this changes everything, the question is whether we are brave enough to admit what everything has become.